Hello, I'm Tim.
I'm Dan.
Mitchell.
And together we are Cut Copy. I guess we've been a band for about 5 years, 6 years maybe, 5 going on 6 years. We've had 2 records out, latest being In Ghost Colors. Yeah.
I guess I first got into music with like stuff like Pavement, Morrissey, whatever sort of indie rock I could hear on the radio in the small town I lived in, and then got into lots more stuff, got into a lot of like punk rock and played in some bands like that, playing guitar, and I guess that was the main thing that shaped my musical taste originally, was whatever you could get your hands on in the small place where I grew up, and it was quite nearby where Tim grew up, which he probably had a similar thing, which it really seems quite distant to where things are at these days, where you hear of a band and you just look them up and download their tunes, and it's all just instant gratification. Where, when I was young, it was more about, even trying to find out the name of a band was difficult, or, you'd even have like rumours that a certain band existed and you'd have no way of knowing whether it was true or not. Like, members of this band have a band with that band, and people could actually be making it up, and you wouldn't know for years.
Mine was pretty similar to Mitchell. I think it kind of came from that indie rock kind of background, and I think we were all kind of self-taught how to play instruments. I know I used to just kind of play along to Guided by Voices records and stuff like that. That's kind of how I learnt to play guitar. I didn't really have much of a connection with dance music until a lot later, even though like in the small town where we grew up there was a lot of kind of like bush raves and things like that, but I never really took part in any of that kind of culture until much later. And I don't know, that's kind of it. And then kind of just, when we like moved to Melbourne, like to go to university, kind of both Mitchell and I, from kind of small country towns, and it kind of broadened our horizons a little bit as far as a lot of kind of different music that we were listening to. But that's kind of it.
I guess I grew up in Melbourne, which is more of a major city than these guys, so I guess I sort of always had sort of options for music around, but probably just went for the just the same as everyone else when I was a teenager, just kind of whatever was around. But it wasn't until I'd kind of probably like right at the end of high school that I started getting into sort of music a bit more heavily and started kind of buying vinyl records. And I was sort of very much into kind of, I guess music at the time, but also sort of stuff that was based on sampling and kind of dance music stuff. That sort of really triggered my interest, I guess, just because it seemed like the kind of music that might be a bit easier to make for me, because I couldn't really play any instruments to any degree. So I guess I sort of got into that and DJing as well. And then I suppose sort of after that, having kind of worked on producing and sort of making music for a while, started, I guess, trying to, work on stuff with these guys, trying to re-record stuff that I'd written, except using kind of live instruments, and just sort of seeing how that sounded, and trying to, just work on something that was more live. And I guess that's sort of where the band really kind of sort of came about, I guess, out of that.
I think the first band that made me actually think about being in a band was the Ramones. Whereas a lot of music that I was listening to probably before that, made me, totally be obsessed with the band or, want to buy the record and listen to it a lot. But then the stuff that made me really just think that you could just transplant yourself into the band with no, talent or anything or particular look or anything like that was with the Ramones. It just seemed like music made by total nobodies, and that was kind of their thing. So that was kind of pretty inspiring in that way. We're successful back home to a degree. I mean, our record went number one, but Australia's also a lot smaller than America. I don't know. I mean, I think we felt really lucky that the record went to number one, and that as a measure of success was pretty cool, and it's something that's a bit of a landmark. So yeah, that's something that was pretty impressive to us. But it's also not something that we sort of set out to do anyway. It's not something that we strive for. So to have had that happen is amazing. But it doesn't really change things in how we view the band, really. And it's not the way that we measure the success of the record. I guess we measure the success better just by what people's reactions are, and even some of what the reviews are of the records. It's a bit different. It's a bit tough to work out how you measure the success of a band, but I don't think it's record sales aren't what we set out to do, and so they don't factor in too much to how we consider the success of the record.
I think the main thing is just be confident in what you're doing, because I don't think that any bands out there really know any more than someone that's just starting out, really. I mean, you might be able to play a little bit better, but there's no kind of I guess like magic sort of answer to sort of writing good songs. It's just something that that I guess you kind of work on and hopefully kind of just happens between a group of people. So there's no reason why anyone can't sort of write cool music and make cool music. It's just sort of having the confidence to pursue it, and maybe some people do, some people don't. So follow that dream. That's a wrap.
Yeah. We can't say anything after that. That's it.